Hi guys, thank you very much for joining me. A little bit late with this whole Capricorn Saturn, but here goes. This is not for the full Saturnian transit. I will get onto doing a series for you. Thank you very much for waiting. This is specifically for the retrograde, which coincides with the Pluto retrograde as well. So our zone January the 10th, April the 17th going into retrograde, September 6th. Going direct, and leaves the RX zone on December the 12th, 2018. So we've got quite a nice coincidental consciousness buster between Saturn and Pluto here this year. So I feel that Pluto is going to accelerate and really define us during this time, while Saturn is going to truck behind and with a slow, considerate pace remember, remind us of how to do things well. If you are like me and you write, if you want to write good, if you want to do anything that is well, please consider the quality of the pages, you know, the numbering sequences. The spell check is not enough. You have to go through every page. You have to see what you've done. You have to do it perhaps again. There is a very, very nice feeling about backlog information. If you are somebody like me and you've got many, many pages of writing, or even many books of writing, if you've done many, many paintings or drawings, if you've done many things, if you've perfected yourself at a craft, what a wonderful, caring and beautiful time to just basically get the most out of it. This is why I've said it for a couple of signs in 2018. I think it was Scorpio especially, and Leo, and I think somebody else, I think Aries as well. It's a really nice time to get the backlog out this year. So where you haven't been seen, if you are a worker, if you are a busy bee, if you're trying to make life beautiful for all of us, if you're trying to make something for other people, if you want to show something different to this world, why not try? Why not try and show yourself? Show yourself. If you have never really been justly treated, what a beautiful time to show yourself. If you've never been seen for the amount of consideration and care that you give to yourself and other people, if you've never really been seen for the amazing homemaking skills that you have, if you've never really been a host before for others, Airbnb, have some friends over, if you've never ever had someone pat you on the back and go, wow, you're really talented, I never knew this, if you have never been the life of the party because you're such a good host and such a great listener, this is for yourself. This is beautiful. If you've been the humble one, the one staying behind closed doors, especially if you've got a backlog of ideas and a lot of, for example, music tracks that you wrote that you never, discovered a producer for, this is it. If you are the wallflower, if you are the bridesmaid and never the bride, this is the time to shift and to really, really proclaim your rightful places, because after this transit, it is never going to be quite as brilliant as this. What I'm saying is, we have a dog year. We have a lot in the sky that considers itself really friendly and opening and loving energy for much of 2018. We've got a toothiness as well. We've got a carnivorous bite, but we also got a lot of people trying to be something all of a sudden now. Because we had the rooster year, and usually aftershock is grand because we had this whole year to discover who we were and to really get real. And there are a lot of people that didn't. And quite often what happens when the boat sails, everybody swims in the water after the boat. Basically what I'm saying to you is that this is the time, if you've discovered your own center, if you have never really tried and you've just been so good and you've been so talented and you've been so divine, and some kind of like unconscious ambition has been part of your life. If you've been doing something forever, you didn't know why. Say if you've been restoring furniture, you didn't know why. You've been fixing up houses, you didn't know why. You've been homing people for free, you didn't know why. You've been cooking incredible meals for pretty much nobody, didn't know why. You've been storing them in the freezer. Why not show yourself? Show your talent. If you are somebody especially who is now kind of recognizing how truly amazing you are, in January 2018, I feel a lot of us that have actually put in the time and the work into ourselves and really wanted to see the best results for everybody, for our own evolution, and trying to be on top of things with ourselves without really, how can I say, knitting ourselves into the ground. So being a person who tries and considers and structures life. Oh my gosh, you guys, what a perfect energy for workers. You know, what a fantastic time for fathers. What a good and gorgeous time to be noticed and to be really understood. So if you are also kind of like a father to somebody, or if you've ever fathered somebody without knowing that you have, if you've been the support and the roof over someone's head, if you've been somebody who has been lying to nobody and trying to be truthful and trying to be the man, even if you are a female but you've got a lot of masculine traits, oh my gosh, what a gift you are, because we really need pillars like this. This is like pillars of salt, like it's like salt of the land in our society. As this this earth dog year, dogland, is going to, I feel, help us all discover a lot more for ourselves through other people. So the nose knows during this year. There's a really interesting thing that's happening, I feel, with us as we are getting a lot more interested in what we feel in terms of our intuition. Where do our spirit guides tell us to go? Where does it feel to be tastier? Where does it feel to be better rather than what the billboard is saying? So I'm feeling that we're going to sniff you out. If you're somebody really diligent and who is very inverted, and you have created a gold mine of experiences for yourself, even though those experiences are not seen, if you become a chalice of wisdom, or you're just a very wise person, always have been, we will sniff you out. So perfect time for fathering, perfect time to finally give and take, and to start making money and to start making progress out of anything to do with giving and taking with no issue, showing people the way, showing people where to go, anything straightforward and clear. Building projects, building jobs are really good for you here. Also, however you are placed in this world, Airbnb, and also becoming a hub that is stable for a lot of us who are flying all over the world and doing God knows what. So very nice time. In a good way, because I'm one of those people as well sometimes. Very nice time to become still and not separate from yourself anymore. However, one thing that can happen here is grandeur for those people that have become the power source for others but not for themselves. Deceit and bad remarks towards people who are weaker or suddenly turning towards you. So this is one thing to look out for. For example, if you've been an artist, a painter for all your life, and suddenly you've got people lining up at the door to see your gallery, which is just your house, you might close the door and say, nobody's coming in now. You know, it's like Van Gogh, you know, destroying his art, or Matisse. So it's not quite like that. It's like being the Scrooge. Being the Scrooge can come through here. Also pushing people away. Suddenly somebody wants to say, I'm so sorry for what happened last year. I actually really love you, and I never really understood how much of a pillar of strength you were to me. And you can close the door in their face and say, well, never again, I'm doing this for you. Definitely keep in touch with your heart. And we've got Pluto going to retrograde pretty much in the same time as Saturn here, which is an incredible opportunity. So the heart and the bones. I'm feeling that it is such a nice time to revise the masculine path, and it also feels to me an important time to review your fatherhood and father-son relationships especially, but also mother-son and mother-daughter relationships for some of us as well. What an interesting time to consider. Do I want to? Do I want to still do this or that? Would I really like to, for example, make another couch from scratch and not know where to put it? Will I really need to put in so much work in the next while? For some people, this could be interesting. Some of us do not know it, but we can do something a lot faster and on a quantum level. So, for example, you've been restoring furniture and you've done well, and you've only been paid, like, for example, as much as you expected or you think to receive, but then somebody might come across and say, can you fix this ring for me? Like the silver ring is just, split in half, and you say, sure, and you do it within a day, and then you, for some reason, generate for yourself a jewelry business. It is something that is very, very, I feel, efficient and effective and reflective of you. So if you, during this time, as I'm starting to feel as well, starting to believe that things don't have to be so hard, you can have things at a very, very quantum optimum level. For example, if you're a woman who cooks and cleans, and for example, nobody's living with you and you're cooking for the whole family still, just through autopilot experiences, and you've got a freezer full of food, maybe you might have somebody approach you and ask, do you mind if we maybe buy some of your food? Because say we're looking for an authentic Italian chef, or would you like to cook for us in our cafe? So things are very loopy here, meaning that sometimes depends how you are in your heart. If you're a worker but you've got a very bitter edge, if you're very stale because you've been working so hard, and there's like a bitter reminder every day of people not noticing you or people not giving you enough back, that will, I feel, either come to an end or become the end for something. So relationships can end, your social constructs can end, and also I feel a lot of us can actually find it much easier to be isolated during this year, but don't, because this is a dog year, so you must learn to communicate and to be in villages, I feel, and any kind of society, because I feel it is not really the time for people to be completely isolated. It is not fulfilling, and it is not something that we are all going to really get the chance to explore later in the coming years, unless you've got some very interesting configurations in your chart. So I'm feeling that for most of us, if there is this grudge, if there is this edge, where you are knowing that nobody noticed you before, now everybody turns around, you feel, or yeah, you want me to work for you, or I applied for your company like 2 years ago and nobody said a thing to me. So if there is a bitterness and a strong bossiness that's coming through for not being noticed and not feeling like you deserved it before, and that perhaps these people now don't deserve you, that has got to stop. And why that is because you can close the door on your own face. So later in life, you might find that you have the business, or you've got the job and you're generating a lot of income, or you've got everything that you wanted in all the right places, your house is pristine, yet nobody comes by. Nobody comes by. So take care of your heart. And I feel also another new little thing coming through is heart disorders, heart disease, anything to do with weak hearts and weak lungs, and everything to do with the chest cavity can actually really, how can I say, it can exhale itself for people. What I mean is, some people I feel are becoming quite dry and quite relentless in their sense of self through work, and through re-damaging themselves over and over for being that type of guy. You know, that type of guy, the working hero, or the person who never quits. That's something that I feel can be interesting. And though some people look very healthy and healed on the outside from doing a lot of cardio and weights, there might be a weakening inside the heart and the ribcage in general, because I'm feeling that not a lot of people have truly the potential to forgive. And in the Earth Dog year, I'm feeling that a lot of us will have to go like this. It's almost like, it's not turning a blind eye, it is protection of oneself from the curiosity and the darkness of other people sometimes. I feel that some people might get quite messed up about where they've come to be in the last years. We've been for a rooster years. I've been saying it's a personality building year. People haven't built their wings, people haven't learned how to crow, or people haven't really developed their special skill set yet, or they haven't really found who they are in the future based on their past. They haven't really found the continuation of themselves. If they are not clear, sometimes people during a dog year will rip at each other. They will rip you down. They will glue their own poster over the top of your poster. They will sometimes put nasty comments and remark on your website. Occasionally people can steal each other's books, they can steal each other's paintings, they can steal each other's work, they can steal even each other's time. It is a very, very nice constructive year for those of us who are working for the Lord. There are some of us that have chosen to work more than others and to create a lot more for our species than others, and it's not because we're like special or giving or kind, it's just that we haven't really perhaps developed in other ways. So basically what I'm saying is the nerds, so the extreme, like the nerds that do their thing, the hardworking nerds. I'm sorry, I'm being like a little bit stereotypical here. And then you get those people who are proud warriors and they're living for the now. They haven't probably devoted themselves to anything ever. They've just been running around doing crazy things all the time. And because of the age we are living in at the moment in millennial culture, that is seen as a charisma. At the moment, it is a charismatic way of life. So this is between, if you know the story, this is an old story about the ant and the dragonfly. The ant and the dragonfly. I will tell you the story. I will tell you the story very quickly. So I hope you got time for this. So basically the ant has been working all summer long, and the dragonfly has been just flying around doing its thing. And the dragonfly has been always laughing at the ant, saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing this for? It's a kid's story. And the ant has been telling to the dragonfly, you don't have to basically you don't have to be yourself. You can actually, probably try lifting something or try, creating something for yourself for winter. And dragonfly says, I don't believe that the cold weather will come. I'll always be free, young and beautiful. And sure enough, the ant creates for itself a little colony and creates a little place to be safe and everything like that. And the dragonfly does not. It relies on the variety of experiences and the ecological balance, the temperature that the sun and summer provides. It just relies on its exterior factors. And what happens? What does the dragonfly do? It asks the ant to house it. It asks the ant to house it, saying, it's very cold outside, please let me in. I don't want to die. And what does the ant do? It says, of course, come in. Now, the unfortunate thing is because I've been watching ants and I know that they eat dragonflies. but the thing about the story is that the more industrious people and then the people that are frivolous are going to have contact this year. So how do you consider this? I mean, for me, I consider this quite interestingly. I've had a person recently for a reading who has been very industrious, who's been quite the ant, and they would really, really benefit from knowing some dragonflies. They would really benefit from people who are frivolous and who are very free, and they run around doing many things at once, and they're master of communication. But then, for example, a dragonfly that spend all their time making friends, making plans, traveling around the world, doing fun things, and has great charisma, but that hasn't got really good work ethic or very good ideas about what they might like to do with their life, they might benefit from the ant, who does probably know what they can do. It is a very nice relationship here, so don't shun them. Don't shun them out. Don't shut people out. So if you are somebody who's a worker and you somebody who spend a lot of your life probably feeling like a bit of recluse or a bit on the harsh edge of life, and then you see somebody who perhaps offers you a service or offers themselves in service to you, which is quite likely, especially through the retrograde of Saturn here, please employ me. Please take me in. I don't know who I am. Like, I am 40 years old, I've done little bits and bobs here and there. I haven't really learned. And you, for example, are 35 and you have your own company, you already had, you always have had the thing that you're doing now. It is not so good to laugh at people. It's not so good to prod at each other. And same thing if you're a dragonfly type of person and you sort of belong in many groups and you've done many things, your climate, your social climate, the climate of your life, and it probably already has been showing for some of us dragonflies, that the social climate is changing, like Facebook, Instagram, all these things. Social media isn't quite enough for some people to sustain themselves And at the same time, it's a great tool to know how to use those things. So if you're somebody who runs around, who knows many girls, many guys, and has very, very good clique in society, you may not like it, but you might need to work longer hours during this time. You might need to employ somebody who can take care of your accounts, or you may need to do some damage control or some reality checking during this time. So while Saturn is in retrograde from April to September, also with Pluto in retrograde, and this is a very nice thing, we might find friends in the most incredible places. We might find a friend that never made sense to us in high school, through college, never made sense, but we may find somebody who is not like us, who's quite unlike us, but they may last us a very long time if we can see the beautiful ecosystem of a relationship that we have with that person, where we work well together. Another thing, of course, this is just one last thing, people that haven't found a house. People that haven't found a mate, people that haven't found the dad energy or the mom energy, something that is very stoic, strong, and is not free, the energy of perhaps even clutter for some of us, the energy of depth and building and strategy. If you haven't yet found those things, you might want to. So some people may need to be housed, but if you aren't sure, it is very easy to be a trapped butterfly in somebody else's web, a trapped little dragonfly. So if you are somebody who has been running around and you felt like travel was fun and everything was great, there are some trapping mechanisms I feel already starting up in January. So people being pushed into situations. If we talk about the numerological system, I don't like to talk about numerology too much, but we are basically in year 11. So 11 is a 2, is just an upper version of 2. So basically 2 plus 1 plus 8, you know. And this type of year basically is really nice for relationships, for really long haul, sensual, cuddly, sticky, you know, one-on-one relationships. Also, we've already gone through Libra, so this is not about easy partnerships like you and I, we're together, we're just doing our thing. This is about sticky, long-haul energies, because as we got Jupiter now going through mighty Scorpio in the sky now, it is not really truly the type of energy which is freeing. It is something that is sticky and can sometimes last for a long time. If you are like myself and you are wanting to, and you knew this for a long time, be yours. If you want it to be free, and if you want to find somebody who is easy and who is simple, this is not the type of energy, especially for women looking for like masters of something, like men who are masters, or for men who like other men who are masters, or that are looking to exert their masterfulness onto a woman or a feminine partner. This isn't really the type of year, and I already said this before in previous readings, to really join up in a very easy way. Like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, good, this is nice. Like, this is free. Like, you and I, we're just walking together. We're just facing beauty. We're just going in all these different directions. It will get easier when Jupiter goes into Sagittarius, as we also get rid of that edge of Saturn and goes well into maybe the 23rd, 24th degree of Capricorn. It is and it isn't easy. It isn't easy. So maybe in August there might be somebody, but I feel that we can often not know it, but we can get very, very stuck with people who seem very practical, very well-to-do, very organized, and it's so nice, you know, to say, oh, you know, I met Josh and I thought he was so awesome because he's not like the other boys. Like I went for the crazy boys, you know, the scary boys, and he's so nice and he's so wholesome. Things are not what they seem. We got Jupiter and Scorpio. We got a lot of things happening, so we can have relationships, and this is quite easy for a lot of us girls. So pay attention, ladies, especially Libras in January and onwards. It is very, very easy to find yourself in a type of knot with a person who seems really well-to-do, seems really straightforward, really structured. But inside, they have a shadow. Like inside, they'll never let you go. They want to check you know, where you are, why you're not home, you know. So like, for example, if you are somebody who suddenly got engaged or even married to somebody who you've met only recently, and they seem to be the clearest person, you know, they're cuddly, they're cute, they wear nice clothes, you haven't met yourself if you don't know them yet. Okay, well, you don't know them yet, you know, and you feel like they're fine, you know, they're fun loving and they got a nice car and they like to drive around, they're progressive, they like Starbucks, you know, they're a normal guy, normal lady. And then when you are moving in here or you're getting married, you might actually notice, uh-oh, I'm the butterfly stuck in a web. You might find that your partnerships have feet of clay. Or if you are, okay, this is the other extent of it. So the first one was if you've gone from extreme of freedom and loving yourself and cherishing yourself, and you've been trying to do different things and lots of new things over and over, and you haven't found yourself in the rooster yet. The other extreme is if you haven't been anything but diligent, you haven't been anything but strong for other people, you never were found, and you've never been seen. By April 17, 2018, I feel you might find that something within you that is really close to somebody else's heart. So during this retrograde in Saturn, there might be light for some of us people who have carried people for a long time and done lots of errands, like done a lot of things. You might finalize this martyr complex, and you might come out and say, here I am. I'm just caring. I'm just a caring heart. I'm not frugal. I just care about you. The people that are open about their intentions, the people that are open about why they work so hard, you know, why they do so much, like why they've perhaps never offered help before, now they're offering help, and people saying, I'm lonely, or like I'm tired, I'm afraid of being alone during my 70s, you know, like in my 70s. People can come out with all sorts of things, but it feels to me that people that have struggled and survived and that have had a choppy ride with relationships, partnerships, friends, manifestations of people in their life may not find it that easy at first, but sometimes things can last. But if you are frivolous, and you've been frivolous all your life, or in the last 5 years you found awakening and you've been exceedingly more and more free, don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. If you are not feeling good sometimes during this time, especially with Pluto retrograde, some of us, especially if we are more on the immature side, or we're feeling like we want to do everything at once, or, you know, we're not really that, how can I say, we're not that stuck into anything, we just kind of like do it. We give and take with ease, you know, we smile at life, you know, live and let live, those types of people. You guys can really suffer here because it might feel like you question yourself. You might feel like, I haven't done anything, I haven't got anything, I haven't finished my projects, I haven't finished what I've started. And if you are totally like in denial about all the good things about you, or you're not feeling safe in the changing environment, especially if there is corruption in the air. There could be a feeling of money getting stuck places. There could be a feeling of people disclosing money from you. Also, if you aren't quite sure of who you are and your money comes through an unconscious like working state, say you're working at a cafe and you hate it, but you kind of do it anyway. If there's an unconscious state, you might find that you feel very, very easily misled, especially if you're really open-hearted and clear-minded. Sometimes, often, a person who's very humble, open, here I am, can go through almost like a martyr state suddenly here in reverse Saturn. And you can say, oh my gosh, who am I? And you can call up mom or dad and say, can I please stay with you? Or you could probably like say, if you're a man and you're like 21 and you're really lost, and you can, for example, call up that other person that you knew before, and you might end up in a relationship with somebody much older than yourself, and who seems much wiser and more equipped for life. But are they happy with you? Perhaps not. Maybe they just like you as a certain space filler, or they don't treat you seriously. You might very easily move in with somebody here, especially anything to do with housing, anything to do with being homed, anything to do with structure and parenthood and parental advice or guardianship or guidance over you. Very easy to get stuck. So if you are suddenly experiencing changes, if your life is usually free and frivolous and easy, learn something. It's nice to go to college, it's really nice to go to school, it's really nice to get extra skills or to learn on the job and to aspire to people. which does not tie you up, like what doesn't tie you up. If you're really not sure about who you are and you have no identity, and it's fine, because a lot of people, I think, are understanding that there is no such thing as purpose, which isn't so. There is an energetic purpose, but there's no job purpose. You don't have to be a worker for a purpose, unless you've done something really crazy in the previous dimension. So there are some people that are actually workers, but not many of us are. So if you want to know more about your job prospects, if you are stuck, if you are, not needed here, not needed there, that's another thing that can happen. People get ping-ponged. Nobody needs them. This is difficult. This is really hard. Sometimes during these transits, especially if you haven't quite found yourself, you haven't got like a job or stability or a home, something, occasionally during this type of transit, some people, actually this whole year for some, people get ping-ponged. It's like job only lasts a few weeks, a relationship only lasts, 7 months, people get ping-ponged around, and people are digging, it's like they're digging their hand deeper and deeper into the bag of lollies. It's like we're in the lolly scramble, like we're in a lolly mix, and people are digging for each other, seeing who else is tasty, what is sustaining, what has sustenance. We're sniffing each other out in a dog year, and we aren't doing that for no reason, because I feel that we're creating new value systems with our community. So if you are passed around, that's difficult. Being passed around and not seeing entirely who you are, and you feel like it could be coming, or you're feeling like it's already kind of in the air, trust it. It's okay. Start planning ahead. Start planning ahead. So then when April comes, you know where you are, you know where you've got to be. So have a look at how you spend your time. How can you create more finances? How can you treat yourself more efficiently? What can you do to at least have one foot in the door where you want to be? Like, say, if you haven't really done that much for your own work, you haven't done much of your own work in the last year, in the rest of the year, you haven't done very much to discover you, and you're now kind of like stuck and you're like restless. If it's already kicking in by January, it's a very nice sign that it's a good time to either go where you are needed and you've been asked to be, or perhaps tie yourself with something that you've always done further. So if you like been studying music, study it with extra gusto, just to get yourself grounded somewhere when Pluto and Capricorn go backwards together. And also I feel that for those of us that aren't quite there yet, we're not, either or, blah, 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 we're not quite there yet. It isn't real, as it is also divine. If we are not quite there yet, meaning we don't really associate with ourselves as real people, we're swimming around the ethers, we don't know what we want to do every day, we just go to the beach and hope for the best. For people that are loitering, also I have to say, because New Age as an entity has come to a closure, so it's been a huge bubble for a few years. After 2012, 2013 it went huge, 2014 even bigger, 2015 started going down. It's like an inflammation has gone down. Basically, the New Age is going. And this will mean that the festival butterflies, the festival goers, the doof fairies, people that like to have fun, people that enjoy working different parts of the world and little cliques and circles, walking between communities, everything like that. This is very healing for this earth. This is a healing experience for everyone, actually. But with us being in this very constructive and tribal year, like we are not just looking for hangouts, we are looking to tribe. The dog year, because next is pink, we are looking for eventually, perhaps, and this is probably starting for you guys, I've noticed this for myself. I don't do this myself, but I've noticed people do this to me in the last few months, sniffing out a purpose for someone. So a person can be sniffing out perhaps a future husband or wife if they haven't concluded anything during Jupiter Libra. So by October last year, they didn't really receive anything. They might be thinking, what's wrong with me? How can I create a greater union? So there's hungry people. There is a bit of a hunt during dog year. And sometimes it is just about the news. What's the news? What do you know? What do you smell like? If you can imagine what dogs are like together, But this is not going to just lead to, hey, let's hang out. Okay, let's be friends. It's not just about let's be friends. Okay, so for a lot of people like myself, I'm just like, oh, let's be friends. This is nice. It isn't about, because I'm a little bit funny like that. So it is not really about let's be friends. Like let's freaking, buy a tent and get a couple of sleeping bags and just go out there and have fun. It will happen this year. That is going to happen, especially for people that have been isolated. They'll be more interested in doing those things. Sure, I'll drive you anywhere. Yeah, let's pitch a tent somewhere. Yeah, let's go watch the stars. I never thought about that before. But trust that if you aren't really matched energetically, and this is what I've been trying to tell people all last year, like, match yourself up to what you want to do. Don't make a smiley face because people smile at each other to be polite. It's like, you don't need to do the errands, you don't need to clean and service, everybody, just because you think that's your role as a woman, or, that doesn't have to be your lifetime, because we're coming to this really massive, massive time where we're actually quantum to such a degree where this is not a phase, this is my life. We are waking up that nothing is really a phase. Like, we're no longer in the waiting room of life. We are living the life. If you're sitting at a bus stop every day, that's you. You're not. This is not you waiting for you to live at your job or at your house. That's you. If you are sitting somewhere every day bored on the couch and you just, waiting for your course to begin and you're sitting there playing video games, imprinting times, that's going to be you for a long time. So I don't want to freak anyone out, but definitely consider anything that you're up to, anything that you do, anything that you are for, anything that you're emotionally or spiritually interested in. This is a thing. So basically with us, I feel with people, on the general, sorry, the video is getting a bit long, but I'm just going to say this anyway. It isn't important where things take us. Occasionally, yeah, it is the journey, not the destination. But if you don't know what you want to do, by January 2018, February comes, you're still not sure. If you are flying around, if you're like, not quite, I don't know, I have no idea. Dog year is we sniffing out what each other has finally brought together. We are sniffing out each other. We're looking at each other's plumes. We're looking at each other's colors. We're really getting to know each other's tastes and each other's capabilities. And this is the thing. Yeah, social, yeah, but people don't want to know each other for nothing. People want to know each other for more. Because come 2019, especially 2022, we got like Pluto coming into Aquarius. We want to breed. We want to form, we want to create a greater journey together. And for some of us, it is a tribalist culture. For some of us, it will be, I want the village of my dreams. I want all the people to match me, but who is me? And this is where we get people who are, on one scale, recluse, that haven't discovered a thing. They don't know who they are, perhaps, or they do. And then on the other hand, we've got the social butterflies who never really did either. So stuck with each two of the polar opposites is very, very scary. So have a look during this time, especially as we are, I feel, forming future families. I feel that there is an undercurrent. This is very, very light, and I haven't mentioned this in the 2008 horoscope because I wasn't quite quantum on the day that I channeled it. Be mindful of the types of people that you're around. If you are just not interested in someone, close that gap. If you aren't, you're just not interested. If you found this new calling, and if in January you feel so tight with you, like you feel so tight with you are your own best mate, and everything is in perspective and in proportion for you, and somebody comes over and they're from your past, or they're from this random kind of gig or this group of people that you're not quite interested in, but you're sort of being nice. See, I've been preparing you guys ever since the dark moon in Leo. I've been preparing you guys. We've got another dark moon actually coming up on the 31st. It's going to be a blue moon. Exciting times on the 31st of Jan. It is not so much about freaking out about this. If you feel like people are going to sway you or stray you, that is going to come for some of us. But I feel that it is more about reality check. Let Saturn realign you, but don't fall for cheap housing, free food, free accommodation. Oh, but he was so nice to me. Oh, but he shouted me that gift, like that trip, abroad. Oh, but she's so nice. Oh, yeah, well, she's safe. Like, the person's safe. So don't trust the safe, because people are in this year stunning. They are, for some of us, I feel we are very, very enigmatic and enlightening. There will be a few people that really stepped out of their closet, it feels like, or stepped out of their shell, but do not be fooled, because some people are doing this, a lot of us, most of us, are doing this as almost like a mating dance. I know, a mating dance, or the dance for the greater life. So we look like, yeah, just catch up with me for a drink. Yeah, it'll be fine. It looks like, oh yeah, catch up with me for a drink. Just one drink. Just come on. This can be a step towards perhaps being with more people like yourself, or for you to be more with people like that person, or that person specifically. So do not budge. And you might actually see January comes. And for those of us that have noticed, you might be attracting certain people already that haven't quite freaking got there. Like, who's this? Like, you're looking at a person, you're like turning them in your head, you're like, this person doesn't know what they're doing, you know? And then they say, hey, shout out, you know, hey, want to catch up for a drink? Want to catch up for a beer? Come on, I'm your friend. Why would you say no? Don't say no to me. I've had this all week. I've had, I will say this honestly, I've had 4 or 5 different men approach me all this week. I mean, this is a bit too much information, but they are the same energy. They haven't found themselves, and I've had these people say, hey, let's catch up for a drink, but I've noticed that this is not for me, and I'm not sure what to say. If you are somebody who definitely knows and shows definite interest towards something, and it's not about, that's cute, or that's tasty, no, it's definite interest, like, whoa, what's this person up to? And definitely a no about somebody else. If you are no, yes, that is it. That is it. If you are somebody who has learned to sniff out things really good because you sniffed yourself out on the wrist a year, go for it. All right, so you want to cuddle with someone, you want to have a relationship. If you aren't interested, okay, this is, I should have put this in the 2018 video, but I will put this in here. If you aren't interested and you're feeling like, yeah, dog year, social year, and you feel Saturn is ruling your life, like Saturn's going to Capricorn and you just like full vision, I just want to do my thing. I just want to do my thing. I don't care about anybody else sniffing me around. That's perfectly fine. I feel that we all have to talk to each other though, and it is nice to build the network of people that you want. If you're really not sure about where to show up, as sometimes I do the same, count the numbers. And I'm sorry, this is also for SP people, you know, like Asperger's people and other people that do not really have the social needs that other people do, me included, like me. So if you are not sure, like people inviting you somewhere, and perhaps you're very trusting, so somebody with Asperger's or somebody with or autism or any other kind of neurological difference, sometimes we can't tell who's lying to us and who's not, and sometimes we can't tell what we really do or do not want to do. Kind of like, oh yeah, cool. We just show up because people called us in, but are we really interested? We're not sure because we don't really know what social life is. That is okay. So if you're someone like me, count the numbers. What I mean is this person into anything that I do? If you can't feel them, is this person going to support me, like say, like financially or spiritually, emotionally, or like with network or anything like that? Like, are they going to help me on my journey? Do they want me to succeed? Are they pushing me towards something? Or are they just wanting a cozy buddy? Or do they want a bedmate? Like, do they just want to hug me? Do they want to hold me? Are they talking about relationships with me? Have a look. And I know it sounds really dry for some of us, but for those people that haven't really developed the social or emotional skills to connect with people, count the numbers. What is the sequence with this person? What do they want from me? What is their place in my life? So could I know somebody like that in about 10 years' time? No. If you feel no, you don't need to reply. You don't owe anybody an explanation of how you feel. This is another thing. This is especially with people with Asperger's. I feel sometimes we've got to explain ourselves why we don't really feel the feelings because we think that we're not normal. So it's very easy to get drafted in. Very interesting time to get roped in to any kind of situation where you feel like you owe somebody something. You don't owe anybody anything, especially if you've got your thing. If you have your talent or you have your interest or you have your mind and you have your own manifestation grid all sorted out, you don't need anybody. But it is nice to manifest situations where you're around people. You go to the park and you see people. You make friends with a stranger perhaps just for a little chat. You shake hands with someone new. Perhaps you go to a party, perhaps you don't, perhaps you go to a luncheon, perhaps you have a look at the newspaper, maybe there is some kind of special meeting. Maybe there is a special support meeting for people like yourself. That would be a perfect thing. Maybe there is like a psychic circle. Maybe there is something to do with something that you really like to do. Say, for example, you love dogs. There's a dog grooming expo, anything like that. So go where you're interested and make friends there, or make your time spent around people. So don't close in. So that's one last thing. Close doors, close windows, especially during Saturn retrograde here. We got Saturn return in its original sign of Capricorn. It is not good to lock up, to be the fortress. It is not good to, my home, my castle, slam the door, that's it. I'm in my territory, my territory. That is very, very difficult for a lot of people to understand. There is no such thing, especially if you are in a communal experience. If you are living in the suburbs, there's no real privacy. Like, there is privacy, but energetically there is none. And for people who are also, this is like a different topic, on communal, on communal land shared with other people, but also if the culture of the previous people does not fit you. So for example, if you're living in the States and you're living on the land of other people, other culture, no. Australia, New Zealand, other places in the world, like New Caledonia, like people that live somewhere and they do not know why. That's something very, very harsh. So if you're slamming the door shut, you're saying, my home, my castle, I own this land, that can be a big thing for a lot of introverts and people that are hiding behind their high horse. I've worked so hard for my money, I'm not sharing it with anybody. I work so hard to get this house, I work so hard all the time, I get to have my privacy. No, you don't. It is a dog year. Let people sniff you out. If you don't want to sniff people out, that is okay. That's fine. Just go somewhere public. But it is not okay not to let people come to you. But you can say no if you don't like the smell or the energy of somebody else. So thank you very much. I hope this has been interesting. I had a lot of fun channeling this, and I hope you enjoy your coming shift. But also another thing that I'd like to say, about my website and the readings and the books, there's going to be lots of things changing. There's lots of things coming up. So I guess I will put all the links below. If you'd like to message me for readings, if you'd like to see what I'm up to, if you'd like to book, let me know. But there's also a chance that I will be moving about a little bit, so I might be moving from one country to the next, and I will keep you guys updated about those changes. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.